of course, now that we've got all of these options about like keto and vegan and, these super polarizing opinions and videos and documentaries and Netflix and all this bullshit, it's just kind of like, it really is so simple if you just like dial it back and look at it from a holistic perspective. It's just like, eat more foods that come from the earth.
Right.
Right? It's just like you would think that, but like genuinely, like you should be moving around like the circumference of your grocery store versus in and out of the aisles. So if that means you have meat, that's fine. That's a good source of lean proteins. If it's organically and ethically sourced, I think that's a little bit better and more, health earth conscious. If you don't like eating meat all the time, like there's a lot of good plant-based alternatives as well. That being said, sometimes the plant-based alternatives are heavily processed. You know what I mean? Even that can be too much of a confusion for people.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mind Fluxed podcast, a show for creators and doers who want more and aren't going to let anyone stop them from getting it. Guys, on this show, our topics and our ideas and concepts are all tools for you to use to maximize your results. And today, we've got a special guest, but before we introduce her, we made something for you. If you guys are struggling with results, if you're feeling stuck, head over to mindflux.com/decisions. We've got a free guide for you with some mistakes to avoid, because if you're struggling with results right now, there's likely a decision that hasn't been made. Guys, if you're watching us on YouTube, you see our beautiful faces and our beautiful guest, make sure you subscribe. And if you are listening on iTunes, leave a review based on the value you get from this episode. As always, we're produced downtown by Benji Got Beats. I'm one of your hosts, Tristan Parmley, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Josh Matthews.
Boom. And our guest, she might be the fittest woman in Indianapolis. She walks it as she talks it. She's an elite trainer for F45 and a brand manager for Indie Fitness Mag. She's ultimately a strong woman. She gets the job done. So let's welcome Alex McKinley to the Mind Flux podcast.
Thanks, guys.
What up?
Happy to be here. What's up?
And we should, since every guest throws our freestyles under the bus, we might as well just say Alex is the first girl guest to just come on and rap with us as well.
It was fun. Right. And now we're coming back next time to just do that only.
To just do that only. Exactly. So let's get into the topic. So I introduced you as a fitness woman, but with fitness comes a lot of mind, right? And that's what our show is really centered around. So when did your mindset shift from, oh, this is something I do from fun, to like, this is a necessity and everybody needs to do it?
Right. Probably after college is when it really shifted, because I entered a job that I wasn't liking at all. And I always kind of grew up playing sports and being loving the spirit of competition and everything. But after I graduated college, started working for like this call center job. My major was not necessarily in like exercise science or anything like that either. I just majored in telecommunications, kind of just followed that path where it led. And I was not like really into it that much. Plus in my own life, just personally, it's something I genuinely enjoy. Just working out in general. And like I found a really good gym I was always wanting to go to, and I was always just kind of fitness and health minded in a way. Granted, it's obviously progressed since I was in college and even before then. But another thing too is that like from a young age, I've always loved writing, and I always kind of wanted my own like advice column, or I loved giving people, advice, like, regardless if they took it or not. But I always like found myself really like relating empathetically to people and kind of like wanting to ask why they think the way they do, and like why they would ask me basically about like my routines and my workouts and things like that, and kind of all the different things I did. And I loved to share that information, which then on the other end made me want to even like be even better on like my end on like learning it myself and doing things and experiencing it and growing in that way. And so I was like, shit, why don't I just like do this full time? Which is a process, especially being in like the fitness field anyways. You can't just like boop full time.
Yeah.
Like, fitness. No, it like takes a lot of like odd jobs here and there, and like filling things in and getting things where you can get them in different hours. Like instead of working 9 to 5s, it's like a 5 to 9 essentially. So
You just kind of walked into it.
a little bit, yeah.
And just evolved. That's awesome.
How many times do you work out a day?
Just once normally, but I'm kind of running around. It really depends on the time of year too, honestly, and like what workout I'm doing, how I feel that day.
But when you're training people, are you doing their workouts too? Like, are you doing it with them for the most part or not at all?
Nope. Since I train mainly group-based classes, I don't do the workout with them because I get in my zone when I'm working out. So I want to make sure I can have like all of my attention on them, really be able to pick people out, let them know what they need to be doing better, helping with form, pushing them a little bit further, like all different kinds of things go into that too. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of honed in on them. But that being said, when I do train those group classes, it is a lot of running around, picking up weights, dropping weights. So it's essentially a workout in itself still.
Yeah. And a lot of your clients, are they older than us, like 30s, 40s, 50s, or how like, what's it like? Because you're coaching people at the end of the day, right? And that seems like a tremendous amount of responsibility on both ends because they've got to be responsible enough to be coached. And
Right.
a lot of people don't do well with that. But
Coming
then
from a
you're
younger.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
From a younger person, and then also they're putting like their fitness and health kind of like in your hands, even if it is in a group setting, even if it is even if it is structured, you know, in a plan, you're still like their guide. Like anybody who's listening right now who's ever worked out, like it sucks, right? Like, but it's awesome. Right. And when you reach that moment of like, oh my God, I feel like I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And you've got somebody who's saying, come on, let's keep doing this. Let's
Yeah.
keep going. Like you're going to punch that person in the face.
Right, yeah. So I don't take anything personally, like when I'm in the gym. I'm like, if you can cuss me out all you want. You can say, ah, shit, like it's burpees. You can say whatever. And like, that's fine. Like that's music to my ears, honestly. I just know that like, you know, before and after, the way that I just like to navigate is through like a happy, energetic, positive energy type of environment. And so when you get in the door, I'm like greeting you, asking about how your day is, everything like that. And like, of course, during that 45 minutes, I'm going to like push you to your limits and you might get pissed and whatever, which at the same time, I'll push you as far as I feel like you can be pushed. Like if I feel you can be pushed further, I'll push you. But clients will give you signals every day based on their moods and their whatever even happened that day with them. To where it's like, okay, cool, I probably won't push this person as much as I would have maybe yesterday. Like it's definitely a case by case. But with like the age ranges, it really does range from all ages, like 18 up to 50s. Like we definitely have a good range, and I've trained a good range of people before as well too. And it's just all individually based. But I just let people know like all that they have to do is, because it is a lot, you know, on them to at least get in the door. That's what I tell people. I'm like, just get here, however you can get here, and convince yourself to make it here. You know, schedule it in your day like you would a meeting you wouldn't miss with your boss, or schedule it in your day like a mandatory thing, and then you just walk in this door and I got you. Like just walk in the door and everything else is, you know, I got you. You get you there. So that kind of helps people at least get there knowing that they don't have to like think of what to do next, worry about, you know, how much time they'll have. It's going to be like a quick in and out workout, but like super effective, full body workout every time. And so that's kind of how I operate also, is like, and then during that 45 minutes, like, just like I said, like I can either be, you know, your best friend or not. I don't really care in that moment. Like I know that like people hate working out in the moment. Some people love that shit. Like it just totally depends on the person.
Yeah.
But I'm cool either way. Like I'm like, you're here either way. Even if you had the worst day ever, you made it to the gym. So like,
let's get some results.
let's fucking go.
Yeah, let's get some results.
Yeah.
So for you, because you're mentioning pushing others, like what pushes you? Because like, you know, we've heard sayings out there or different like imagery stuff. So have you ever seen a thing where it, you know, the clown makes people laugh, but like on the other side, like who?
He's crying.
He's crying.
Yeah.
and I just thought about that because I was relating it to like working out, like pushing others. Like the trainer pushes people, but like what pushes you on your process and on your journey?
As a trainer or in my personal
Just
fitness journey?
Really, as a trainer,
Or in general.
Whatever flows. Whatever flows.
So I do think being in this field, I personally love and gravitate towards it because every day people will ask me, like, where do you get this energy even to just, like, train everyone for, like, all the classes or anything? And I'm just like, I genuinely love doing this. Not only do I love seeing other people reach and surpass their goals, I genuinely love this style of working out, this like high intensity interval, almost like boot camp style type training. It's what I have kind of always gravitated towards with like myself. And so I genuinely love seeing people push themselves in this specific way. Although on a daily basis, it does get to be, a lot, because now that I'm always giving off this energy, that's what people come in the door expecting. So like I need to always be on, energy going, positive attitude, everything, which as a trainer, it's like, of course, for the most part, like I love doing that. But there are some days, it's like I'm not in the best mood, or like I'm not feeling it as much, or I'm tired or something like that. And it's like, that doesn't matter. Like they still expect the same thing from me, even though clients can come in any like, emotional state that they might be in that day. But I think like what pushes me is not only seeing just like the progress of your clients coming in and bettering themselves and doing the work and getting the results, which of course is a process that, takes some time to get your return on your investment for. But not only is that super rewarding, but I just am so enthralled with kind of all aspects of health and fitness. So it just is like another mark to me, which I will also say that it used to be like the only mark to me. Like I used to only think, oh, if I'm hitting my workout as hard as I can every single day, then everything else will magically work out. Or like, oh, I like don't have to worry about anything else if I'm hitting my workout hard every day, right? Because that's kind of one of the pillars that people either struggle with or they have it down, right? It's like either shit, I can't make my workout, like, and they kind of just put it on the back burner, or it's almost like obsessive, like I have to get my workout in today or else like whatever, and you can kind of become like a little bit neurotic about it. So it's kind of now turned into finding a good balance of health holistically, instead of me just thinking, oh, if I get the hardest workout in every single day, then I'm good, I can do whatever. But like that'll kind of like, you can overtrain that way. You can, definitely get yourself burnt out that way and everything. But I think just the thing that pushes me too is mostly interacting with other people.
Yeah, and I think that goes like into so many areas of life though too, because people will pinpoint, whether it be like family, friends, like they'll say success is this, right? So like if somebody's not in a fitness like circle, then they might see success as like or that lifestyle that a lot of people in the fitness world live. Like they're very active, they're very influential, they're very like present on social media. And so it can create like a cloud around them as well, to where like, yeah, they might be super fit, but they've got bills to pay, right? Or they've got a personal life to live, to where people will say like, oh, I've got to be fit to be successful as well. And I agree, like health is wealth. Like you definitely need to take care of yourself. But when you said it can be obsessive, like people will prioritize the workout over something that like actually needs to get done.
Right.
And it reminded me of a topic Josh and I talked about last season, called the compound effect, which is basically doing that little thing over and over and over again. And one of the things you said is like people will come in and they're expecting that energy, right? But some people might come in and be expecting results on like week 1, 2, and week 2 and week 3, and like I've been showing up what's not changing, right? So how does like that compound effect play a role with you, not only obviously in the workouts, but on the mindset too? Because if they can just show up every single day, it should get better, right? If they can match your energy, because you're like a chameleon running around, like meeting all these people where they're at in the workout and where they're at in the day. Right. So what is that like for you, like using a compound effect with your clients and with yourself?
I could not agree more. People come in all the time and talk about that. I was actually just talking to a girl last night about this exact thing, and she's like, I feel like I'm like hitting my workouts every day, and I'm trying to like eat as well as I can and everything, and I'm not seeing results yet, or like how can I get there faster, or like get there sooner, everything. And I'm just like, by changing your mindset from I need to get there as fast as I can to like it's gonna take me a while, but I'm dedicated and committed to my goal. Therefore, every day I will make those small steps to get to where I need to go. Right? So people
reverse engineer.
Yeah, exactly. And it does take time, because once again, you do have to meet people where they're at and see kind of where their mindset might be like lacking in this area or the next. And granted, we've only been open like at the gym downtown for not even a month yet. It's going to be like a full month and like 4 days or something like that. And people are already kind of like, okay, where's my results? Which granted, I've already seen some people like getting some results, which is good. But of course, it's like everyone has their own vision of their body, where it's at right now, what they were like ideally like it to be, all these things, their own body image. And I just let people know, like, it's just about asking yourself why you want to do it. That's like the first and foremost question you need to ask yourself, why. Because if it's for, to look good, in my bikini for spring break that's coming up, then you're going to develop that like neuroticism. Is that the correct word? To, only get your workouts. And then at that point, your stress and your cortisol is like rising so much that when your stress rises, it actually like holds on to fat more. So you have to really like all encompass it and say, oh no, I'm doing this because I want to feel good. Not like look is good, which that'll be a byproduct, of course, obviously. But it's just like I want to feel better. Like why do you want to eat healthier? Oh, because it'll help me lose weight faster and get there faster, and everything always has to be faster like these days, of course, right? So it's just kind of like forgetting about the fast and just enjoying the now and being present. And that is like really too what it's about, is finding your why and being present. So you can find your why a lot better by just, once again, being present, meeting yourself where you're at right now in this time. And like, okay, yeah, maybe you in college or when you were younger, you looked better and you were in shape, and like everyone's always trying to get back to this version of themselves that they once were, which honestly, like I've done also. I like a couple of years ago when I was just starting off, was super ripped, had a crazy six pack, all this stuff, which like people would still say like, oh, you still, are ripped, like all of these different things. And it's like, once again, you have your own image of yourself that you have. And like I was once trying to get to that older image. And I was like, but wait, okay, yeah, this older image, looked good physically, but I wasn't as like focused or knowledgeable about like my nutrition, and I wasn't as confident in my mindset, and I cared a lot more what like people thought and my social media presence, and I was more like consumed in that than I am now. So it's like I choose my mindset now and my value in actual nutrition and like fueling my body than just the way I looked back then. So it is kind of about like developing those small habits over time, asking yourself why, and then just being present and enjoying the process for sure.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is. And I agree with that, just because like we said it before on the show, Tristan, I forgot which episode, but because you're referring it to me. So like because I've been trying to like get my fitness right to a certain level. But a lot of times when I guess like failed or like reverted back was when I had like that short term, just like vision.
30-day goal, 60-day goal.
Yeah.
Instead of just having that goal for just the rest of my life and just like shooting for something that's going to be long term.
Yeah. And that too is like, you can of course have goals, and people, like I said, always like to put a timeline on their goals and everything. But if you do just, once again, like tell yourself like, I'm going to fail and that is okay, then like there, you've like freed yourself from, like becoming neurotic about the outcome and everything like that. It's like, I'm going to fail and that's cool. Like sometimes I'm not going to feel like working out, but I know the next day I can get back on. That's why it's like, I eat so much more balanced now, because one, just like the lifestyle, like my job and everything, just that does require a lot more of like an energy output in general. But at the same time, I'm in a more comfortable place with not only my body but my mind to where it's like, if I do fall off, if it's for a day, if it's for a week, it's for a month, like you can always start again the next day. You can always start again the next minute, even too.
Exactly.
It's like, just because in the morning maybe you had like a donut or that turned into 5 at work, like that doesn't mean your whole entire day is ruined now. Like you can still like make things up as you go throughout your day. And it's not even, I guess, about making things up, but you can still like make healthy choices every single second that don't have to like, be based on the previous choice you just made. It can all be a new moment and a new choice in itself, instead of always worrying about the past.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people when they're first starting and like jumping into the fitness world, so like I do have a degree in exercise science and a really successful athletic career, and I've like pushed myself physically to reach certain results, but never a certain image, right? And I was actually just talking to Josh about this. Like, I don't know what my ideal image is, because I've always been focused on a number. How fast can I run a certain distance? And that's it. Like, so I would do whatever it took to reach that, and I did.
Yeah.
But now here I am at 23. I'm no longer this athlete, and I'm like, how do I see myself now, and how do I want to see myself? And I genuinely don't know, right? But for a lot of people, because so few people are, just like high level athletes in the world, it's only about you in the mirror. Like understanding like this is how I need to see myself or like feel about myself. And that's a hard barrier to get over, because the second you go to Google or you go to that like maybe the wrong influence to like ask for help, then you hear some of the like paradoxes in the fitness world. And you said one of them, like, don't become neurotic about like working out, right?
Right.
Or a lot of people think they can just like stop eating or cut certain foods out, but like you have to eat to lose weight. Like, like you were saying, your stress levels and your cortisol levels are raised, and you'll hold on to fat. Well, if you put your body in a survival state of not eating, it's going to hold on to everything that you eat as well as fat. It's going to say, hey, you're not eating enough. So when you do, I'm going to put it all in storage because you're freaking me out right now and I don't want to die. That's how your body is designed. And that's how your brain is designed too. So most people do not know that though. So they will just take the first piece of advice instead of the like best piece of advice. So how do you like sift through the information when people are coming in and they say, hey, I've tried this and this and this and it doesn't work for me, because there's so many different things that do work for certain people.
Yeah.
So how do you like sift through the information and be like, okay, well, like it does work. Maybe it didn't work for you, or hey, this doesn't work. You probably should stop doing it. Like, how do you kind of get that down? Because of course, there's 45 minutes of a workout. Hey, if you show up and you're present here, you're going to get in better shape. But when it comes to the other 23 hours and 15 minutes of the day, how do you help people manage that?
So I would say it's all about simplifying it, and then it's also very subjective as well. So simplifying and then kind of just honing in on that person's specific preferences, right? It's just like, of course, now that we've got all of these options about like keto and vegan and, you know, these super polarizing opinions and videos and documentaries and Netflix and all this bullshit, it's just kind of like, it really is so simple if you just like dial it back and look at it from a holistic perspective. It's just like, eat more foods that come from the earth.
Right.
Right? It's just like you would think that, but like genuinely, like you should be moving around like the circumference of your grocery store versus in and out of the aisles. So if that means you have meat, that's fine. That's a good source of lean proteins. If it's organically and ethically sourced, I think that's a little bit better and more, you know, health, earth conscious. If you don't like eating meat all the time, like there's a lot of good plant-based alternatives as well. That being said, sometimes the plant-based alternatives are heavily processed. You know what I mean? Even that can be too much of a confusion for people. So just simplify things, eat more things that are just grown from the earth, organically preferably, and then move your body in whatever way works for you, whatever way that you genuinely enjoy it. Although that being said, if you really do want to make a significant change in your physical appearance, whether that for health reasons, essentially, you know, ultimately, it isn't going to be fun at first. It's going to suck. But once again, that's not the point at first. The point is to, like I said, schedule it in your day like you would a meeting that you wouldn't miss. Like schedule it in as something that is just mandatory in your life. So eating foods from the earth, moving your body in whatever way works for you, and then just like finding stillness in your life and like this busy, crazy world we live in, like super connected and everything's moving a million miles a minute. Like find your own stillness so then you can ask yourself more questions. Like, why do I want to eat better? Why do I want to work out? Why do I even want to find stillness in my life? And it's all just bringing yourself more like inner peace, which is only going to, once again, like bring the stress levels down, help you think more clearly, help you make better decisions, you know, less like stress eating. Because a lot of people, especially like women who are driven more hormonally, will almost kind of defer to stress eating. It's like, oh, well, it's my period or it's my whatever. It's like, I can have like a warm cup of tea and feel okay if I'm PMSing. You know, I don't need to eat a pint of ice cream. Like that's a different question to ask yourself. Like, am I really PMSing, or am I just trying to blame, you know, am I just trying to like, do I just want this pint of ice cream? Right. Yeah. And at the same time too, I would say like with the eating the food, more foods like from the earth and everything, just trying to stay away from, you know, processed things, because like sugar really is a drug also. And so things like that can actually like mess with your brain chemistry. So it's really just about dialing things back to their super simplified form and really making it easier on yourself instead of worrying and reading and looking and researching like, oh, what's good for me? Like, is fruit bad? Like, should I not be eating fruit? Like, what?
Bananas, the worst.
I swear. So it really is about just simplified.
and I like that too because you said stillness, which I know Josh has something too. But when you said stillness, and Josh is a good example of that, that makes you hungrier for that better version of yourself. When you can find that stillness and you say, why do I want to eat healthy? Well, why I want to lose weight? Well, why do I want to lose weight? Because I want to feel good. Well, why do I want to feel good? Because I want to live a long, happy life. Well, why do I want to live? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You ask yourself why enough times. So you find that stillness in there, and that is going to make you hungry to go hit the workout. Like, man, I don't want to run. Well, why do I want to run? And then going through that. And Josh is a really good example of that because he is very self-motivated. Whereas, like, I just always had a coach or a place to be. And that was
Right.
the only thing that fueled my
Right, and
fitness.
there's totally something to be said for people who are self-motivated in workouts as well. Like, even me, I would prefer to sign up for a class or get with a trainer or have someone else tell me what to do because I just know that they'll make me work harder. Like, if someone's watching me or I'm on the clock or, like, I've got this pressure, then I'm going to, like, rise to this level versus if I was by myself. And that's why I like class-based workouts and personal trainers. And I think it's so worth the, increased pricing that it is. But it's so much worth it because you're getting in and out so much more efficiently. Depending though, once again, like if you're self-motivated, I think that's awesome. And also it's just kind of like a whole other like mindset too. It's kind of like your time to find stillness, although you might be moving constantly, but internally you're like in the zone. You got this going, like you're thinking of like your day and like you're just kind of like working things out, not only physically, but like emotionally, mentally as well.
Right. And I kind of want to go because you said two things. One thing I learned was for one, you said you should like circle the circumference of the grocery store because I go in and out the aisle and that's where I mess
Unless
up.
you're going to like the bulk section that's in like
Yeah.
one of the aisles usually with like all the healthy
Yeah,
stuff.
I just had an epiphany off of that. I was like, damn, like
That is true.
I do that all the time and I always get something I don't need.
Right.
And it's like it trains you. Dang, that is crazy marketing too, because it trains you to go in this literally mousetrap rat
Right.
race
Yeah.
to go through and grab all those things you don't. When really all the essentials,
Have to be refrigerated
all the
and like
all the like fruit,
I
vegetables,
was mind blown when she
meats,
said it. I
like
was like,
dairy,
damn.
like all the good, like all the things that come from the earth are in that circle, and everything else that you're trained. Oh, you got to go down the aisles. Dang.
Mind blown. Thank you for that one.
Hey.
Also, what I like you said, just like testing, because like for me and Tristan, we test a lot of things. Even for me, I've tested a lot of things in my fitness. Like I've tried a lot to like try to find what's simple for me.
Right.
So like I've done 2 workouts a day. I've done eating healthy. I've done kind of like a keto like based diet. I've done all those things, and I'm slowly starting to figure out like what it is. So like I just think like when you were talking about that, it's just so important because like most people that make it so complex, they make success so complex when it's really just like figuring out like what works for you and optimizing yourself and your day and your activities and your habits to best suit you.
Right.
Yeah, and another thing real quick too about that success is they make it a destination that someone else made. So they'll say like, "Hey Alex, I want my body to look like hers."
Right.
Instead of the best version of mine.
Exactly,
Or like,
yeah.
"Hey Alex, I think my wife wants me to look like I did when we were 25. The
Right.
past version of me, but I
She
can't go
don't-
back
she-
to 25."
Right. And she doesn't want that little boy version of you. Now she wants this like man, this like dad, this whoever you are now is
Right.
like who she loves. So yeah, if you're so attached to this past version of yourself or this future version that like might not even realistically exist because you're your own unique person and like not one person is the same from another. So no one's gonna be able to, like I said, though, there are the general principles to follow, but, the exact formula is different for everyone. Yeah.
And you've got to have a destination that like you can see and you can visualize. And I think the big thing you said is the stillness of it. It's so important. It's something that Adam talked about on his episode as well. And Josh has kind of said it too, like becoming aware of like what's working for you. And like that's been my biggest struggle because for me, like you can look at my like rap sheet, my records or whatever, like I recently started like a side hustle job and everybody knew me before I got there because they looked me up because I'm the only person with my name. So if you Google me, I'm really easy to find, which is good and bad. So Yeah, like not in like a, but it's
Yeah.
they all had an expectation of me before I walked in the room.
Right.
So that same thing happens when I go to the gym though. Like we work with Flash. We gotta have Flash in an episode, by the way.
Nice.
I told him last week we was gonna get him on.
Yeah, and Flash is like awesome, but he even has a different expectation of me. But my new results, like where I'm trying to go, is different too. So like Josh and I's workouts can't be the same. You know what I mean? We're trying to
yeah.
go in different places.
Totally.
So I think like that piece right there of finding the stillness and the awareness of like, what am I trying to get out of this? Like, and you should know that as you're getting dressed and as you're driving to the gym and as
You
you're
should
getting
ask
there.
yourself that, yeah.
Yeah, because if you're just sitting there, like instead of saying, yeah, like why am I doing this? If you have that opposite of like, what am I doing this for? That different type of question, you're gonna start to dig yourself into like a misery about the thing that's good for you.
Right.
Working out or eating healthy, like, why do I have to eat this salad or whatever?
Right.
And you dig yourself into a hole, like thinking that it's bad and it's not. Like, what's good for you is good for you.
Exactly.
So how do you like get people over that hump? Say, because I'm sure you have people who come in for like a month and then they fall off, or they come in for like a week and then they fall off, but then they come back and they go for like a month and then they fall off and then they come back again and they seem to go through this cycle. And there seems to be a moment for a lot of people where the switch like flips,
Right.
and now you see them all the time. Right. And that's like in any gym, in any type of coaching, it's just like people, we all kind of play this game of like bouncing back and forth and then we finally commit.
Yeah.
What do you think that switch is like for
Such is
people?
life.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think that switch is for like your customers?
Once again, it's totally subjective based on that person. But for me and personally, like I said, I just am always continually trying to at least offer the value of at least letting them know that they can do it, and it is going to be a process, and it is going to be, long. And sometimes it's just not what they want to hear. So that's why they'll fall off, because they're not ready to accept it yet or ask themselves that question. And so it's really super dependent, right? It's super dependent on whether they are ready to be honest with themselves or not. And then when they become honest with themselves, they're like, well, shit, okay, it's not just the going to the gym or like seeing me at the gym isn't just a maybe anymore. Like, it's part of my day now. Like, it is scheduled in, like I was saying earlier, part of my day, like lunch, eating, like going, I don't know, wherever, eating an unhealthy lunch, isn't
You don't
part
even
of my
know
day.
what's unhealthy anymore.
Well, no,
You can't even think of an example of what's unhealthy.
no, but like eating maybe something that you used to eat, or like even like buying your lunch or something like that, or just like, and it's also about like breaking habits too. I guess I will also build off of that, because your whole life, you're like developing habits, right, that you don't even know about just throughout your day and throughout your life. And you have to like make these changes and these switches. And sometimes the older you are, the harder it is to like be honest with yourself and make these switches. Like, that's one of the biggest things I learned too this like last year in 2019 was that I am not in control of anyone else's lives or minds besides my own. So I can only do my best to provide the value and the education and the knowledge and the encouragement and the inspiration that like I can give. And then from there, it's all up to anyone who receives it to take it or not and, do with it what they want. But I am not in control of any of their decisions. So it's like, even with my family, sometimes like I'll always be I'm so close with them. And so I'm always wanting them to do or come to the gym or come to a class or come do anything, or let's go eat here or there, or like, you should do this and you should do that. And I found myself kind of being this way, and I was like, wait, it's not up to me. Like, I don't have control of what they do. I can, once again, just be here, offer my value, and then they can take it when they want it, when they need it, when they're ready to accept it. And then that's when it begins, when you're ready to accept it.
Yeah, and we just talked about that because me and Tristan were talking the other day. Was it on the podcast or were we just talking? But
we should just record some of our talks. Like, we have some of our best epiphanies just sitting down. We should just record them all.
Right, and it's just like, like when we're on our journey, and we have friends, family who we want to be a part of the process, but it's just like you can't worry about trying to bring them along, because eventually they will follow. Like, eventually they're going to come and join you and see that you're doing well. So like for me now, like 2 of my cousins now are trying to get healthy because like they see me like trying to do that, and they eventually follow. It took some years, but they eventually
Right.
followed.
And then doesn't that make you just want to stay on your shit that much more?
Yeah.
So that's exactly how it is when people make that switch too, or like even if I get one message of, hey, I did this differently, or like one tag or one anything of someone doing something that is just bettering their health in any way whatsoever, that just gives me so much like internal warm fuzzies. Like I just I love that so much because it's like just like cool. I feel like I can provide a value to someone that, doesn't have to be centered around, like, I don't know, just the things that aren't as good for you. Like so many things are, like just keeping it 100, holistic, healthy.
Yeah. And I think another thing that you said, and that like, so you go through life and you're getting all these beliefs, and honestly, like what you said, which I'm about to like unpack a little bit more, is really what MindFlux is about. So you said we go through all this life and we have all these beliefs and you don't even know where they're coming from. So they're usually coming from parent, school, like all of those things, right? But eventually you want something. This is where it comes in. You want something that those people don't want, or those people can't get you, or that school isn't designed to take you, or that school can't get you, and you yourself can't get you there either. Something's got to change. Right. And that's where like flux means to change. It means to flow, right? So mind flux is to change your mind because that's going to change the rest. And so you said accepting that truth that like, okay, current me, current habits, current beliefs, current diet, current workout, it's not getting me there.
Yeah.
This is what I see for myself, but I've got to accept the fact I will never get there doing what I'm doing right now.
Right.
Something's got to change. And that like that epiphany moment is so big because when you can finally accept that, then you start to accept the other things that comes with like the quote unquote success journey. Right. Like developing the habits, developing the routine, testing, failing, getting punched in the mouth by like life 1,000 times, and trying a new diet and not hitting the result, and trying a new giveaway. And it was like, Josh did one thing where he's going to give a follower, it was $500.
Yeah, which is funny. I seen the guy who won it in the barbershop yesterday morning.
If he didn't hit a goal, it was a 60-day goal.
No, yeah, 60 days. If I didn't lose like 20 pounds in 60 days, I gave someone $500.
Yeah, because he didn't hit the goal. So he thought that would be, the external motivation would be the thing. And it just didn't quite make it.
Yeah.
But Josh also went, when Josh first started with fitness, I think, like it was our freshman year, he'd put on weight. We started going to the gym. He started losing weight. Then he was like, I'm going to be fit by summer. Then he said, I'm going to be fit by the...
Gave yourself that deadline.
Yeah. Then he's like, I'm going to be fit by the end of summer because summer came.
Right. And he was having fun. He was living his best life when summer came, right? Like we all want to do.
And then winter came back and it started going through the cycle to where now Josh doesn't even talk about like summer. He's like, when I'm 30, I'm about to be the best looking 30-year-old man.
I'm going to be in my prime.
Right.
Just like being like, but like, think about that. That's 5 years from now, 5.5 years from now, right? Like for that mindset to switch of like, no, my life is going to be like, not this month, not this year, but like my life is going to go in this direction. That is a big change.
Right.
And like that is a new acceptance of beliefs. Like that's huge. And I'm sure when people have that like epiphany, then they start bringing in guests and referrals. And now those people start going through the same cycle.
Yeah.
So what's that like having like a community? Now you said this gym just opened up this year?
Yeah, like a month ago.
And then, but you've been working in the fitness industry. So like, what's that community like? Like your community, your tribe, your thing? Because like that's all people who have had that epiphany, you know?
Right.
So I'm sure that's like your
In a
family.
way, right. And it is so cool too, just to even think about just with F45 in general, that like 4 weeks ago, our doors hadn't even officially opened yet, like a month ago. And I didn't know anybody. I knew some like people's names from the leads that were coming in and everything like that, but I didn't know like one person from the next. The whole first 2 weeks, people were coming in every day, and I was like, sorry, I'm not going to remember your name, but I'm going to try, get all these things down, and then just by the daily interactions we're having, because our retention has been good. People have been now coming in every day, and like we were having like people just showing their faces on a more frequent basis. So I'm getting to know them more, getting to know their lives, and now I have classes multiple times a day where I know every single person in a class and like know their name. And that just makes me feel so, one, proud of them because they keep on coming in and they keep on doing the work. So that's on them. But it is so cool to see how a community can like just form out of that, right? Based on health, fitness, trying to better yourself. And seeing a community like that, I will say, just in general at a gym is so crucial to the retention of the gym, you know, your members and everything. And it all has to do also with like the environment that they're in when they come in. And so kind of adapting to people's different moods, lifestyles, whatever happens that day, kind of like I was saying earlier about just giving them a consistent experience on our end, right? You should never come into the gym not knowing what mood your trainer is in. You know, your trainer should always be delivering you a positive and uplifting experience, I think, personally. Some people have different training styles for sure, but I think in general, like, it does need to be consistent. You don't want your trainer unpacking all of their baggage on their life onto you. Like this is our clients, like our members, one block of their day, the 45 minutes where maybe they can't take any more time for themselves that day besides this time right here. So I want to make sure they have the best experience that they can have, get the most bang for their buck, an efficient workout, get those endorphins, and then go on with their day and give all of their energy and everything, attention to everyone else that they need to do, you know, to be great. So like that time to them is so valuable and so crucial that it's like I would never want to affect it negatively in any way.
That's deep.
So that, yeah, and that just, once again, helps build the community and hopefully then inspires more like word of mouth, and then it just like snowball effects from there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, for you, what's your personal goal? Because, like, you know, you help a lot of people get to their goals. You help a lot of people reach that next level. But, like, what are you trying to go for?
Yeah. So I think goals are interesting. I have some tangible goals. Like this year, I'm going to run my first marathon, which I'm excited about. And just a few other personal goals from there, but just like kind of an overarching thing is like I'm still in the learning phase is always kind of what I've been telling myself, at least since I've started, since then I've grown and experienced a lot of things already in like the 3 years it's been, so it still hasn't been that much time, right? Like 2017 is when I started really training, and I've just always been thinking to myself, as long as I can continue learning, trying, failing, doing, you know, just putting myself out there, saying, being a yes man, but not being like a yes, like too much of a yes man, because that's another thing recently that I've started to dial back on, I would say, but as long as I'm learning, growing, experiencing, hopefully providing value, inspiring, like just doing the things that I believe that I'm meant to do, which just means taking the opportunities as they come and being open to receiving the opportunities, first of all. So I'll do a lot of like just kind of like self, like positive affirmations and just self-affirmations, even in the mirror or anything. And like I'll literally say like, I accept the abundance of the universe. I accept everything that I know I am meant to have. I know I'll get there when I'm meant to get there. And as long as I keep that patience with it, life will go in the direction that it's supposed to, you know? So I just completely kind of surrendered to the things that I think that are going to be meant for me, even the things that I don't know if they're going to be meant for me or not, but I'm open to at least seeing what that might be and then taking it in as it comes and figuring it out from there.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, just really, as long as you feel like you're growing and as long as you feel like you're fulfilled, like you're hitting your goals.
Right. With also keeping in mind that it's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
And keeping the patience, persistence, and practice, which is kind of some of the 3 little P's that I like to go by. I know everyone has their things, but I love patience, persistence, and practice because it all just outlines how I need to kind of remain.
Yeah, and that's why like starting off is like you walk it like you talk it. You even said in the beginning like one of your biggest things with your clients is patience, right? And then we talked about the compound effect is like the persistence, right? And then also showing up every day. Like you are actually a like walking embodiment of the words you're putting out there as well, and like walking in your faith and staying present that you're gonna get there, right? And that's one thing we talk about too is like we're on this success journey. It's not a destination, and it's definitely not a destination designed by somebody else. It's this thing for you as an individual, like thinking for yourself.
Right.
And one thing I thought was interesting is like you said to simplify everything, and I was talking to Josh one day, and I was talking about like everybody wants to be this like top 1% of the world, top 3% of the world, but most people aren't even willing to invest 3% of themselves into bettering themselves. Like if you just put 3% of your time every day, that's 45 minutes. And if
Right.
you put 3% of your average income into yourself, the average income, it comes out to $1,000+ a year that somebody could be putting into courses or just getting better, right? And
Right.
you multiply that by 50 years, that's just 50K investment in yourself, right?
Totally.
And 45-minute workouts. Like if you just got just 3% better every single time. And that's one of the things that I've been trying to diagnose, like for myself, is how can I just simplify all this crazy stuff going on? So I appreciate that like you are actually walking, talking like this lifestyle, you could say, of, success is this journey and I'm on it and like catch the wave.
Right.
Kind of thing. And I don't have any further questions like about your fitness journey or F45 or anything. I think Josh asked a pretty solid one with your goals. But I would like to ask, what's one thing you'd like to leave with our listeners about whether it be their own journey, where they be at listening to you? What's one golden nugget, you want to leave with those people?
I would just say that since, being on a podcast and this kind of, I would say don't get so caught up in the hustle culture that you are neglecting your own like personal needs. Because we are, like I said, in this digital age now where it's like you see all of these people saying, like work, grind, no sleep, team no days off, team all these things. It's like, okay, yeah, team no days off, but like sometimes I need a day off, So give that time to yourself, just like you said, even too with like scheduling in that time. It's all about self-love. And it's really learning about to just love and value yourself more so that then you can love and value others because it's the only way that you can. And we're so reliant on each other and our environments and everything. It's like I want to be the best that I can be for specifically the people I am training, right? And of course, like my friends and my family and the people I'm close to, but my career and like my joy is training others and helping them get past their goals. So even I had to take a step back and think, okay, maybe I need to chill on this whole hustle culture and just, once again, simplify. So that would definitely, I would think, be one of the nuggets to leave. It's not about how many books in a year you can read. It's about how many books you can retain what you read through that year. So I read the same, like 2 books. I've been reading one book. It's this meditation book. I'll post it a lot on my story and things like little nuggets and stuff. It's called Wherever You Go, There You Are. It's about just being present and mindful. And every single day I'll open up to a new page. I literally just finished it like last week or something, actually, the whole book. But I wish I brought my person, but you can look through it and I have like so many different parts underlined and it's kind of tattered and a little bit messed up, but like I keep it with me every day and I'll open up to another small chapter and just read through that. And so it's more about retaining information and like actually being able to reiterate it, that like not only to others, but to yourself. Like I'm constantly positive affirmations, like I said, during the day, like just feeding my own self-positivity so that I can, once again, be better for others.
Right. Wow.
Dope.
I love it. It's like this is a good episode. I just feel good right now.
Yay, good.
It's like the impression of increase. Wow. Well, Josh, do you have any other questions, comments, concerns? She dropped a pretty good golden nugget.
Yeah, no, that's all. I appreciate you for coming on.
Yeah, no, this is great. I'm going to come back later and we're going to...
Yeah. Well,
We'll just do it right now. We'll get right to it. So where can they find you on social media as well?
I'm on Instagram at Alex McKinley. And then the 3 different places and businesses I'm involved in are F45, which is at F45 Training Downtown, or Indianapolis Downtown. I know it's a whole thing. You can probably search it and find it. I train at D1 Training over in Speedway. They're at D1 Training Indy. And then Indy Fitness Mag, at Indy Fitness Mag as well. So find me, connect with me, come take some classes. Let's get this work.
Let's get it in.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. I love it, guys. And thank you for listening to another episode of the Mind Flux podcast. Again, this is another guest where you can take this episode and use it as a tool. Like that's the whole goal, is that you pull something out from every single episode that you can use on your own journey. And I know that so many of us out there are trying to find our way, to even Alex's point, just in the learning phase. And that's part of what this show is for. It's a vehicle for you to get there. So if you got value from this episode, go ahead and leave a review on iTunes. It's how we boost our rankings. And if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. Our personal goal for this show is to get to 1 million listeners per week. And for that to happen, we need those subscriptions and those reviews to climb the rankings, getting that top 5 entrepreneurship and personal development podcast. You can find us everywhere at MindFluxed, MindFluxed. You can find our producer at Benji Got Beats, BENJY Got Beats. I am one of your hosts at Tristan is Thinking, and my co-host.
On me, I am Josh Matthews.
Boom. Guys, thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week.